What do I plant in July? Every year I ask myself that question, but I'm going to help you all out today. My name is Marie if you're new here, and this is my container garden in which I grow food all year round. Successfully so. I am aware that it gets cold in winter in some countries, but you can grow crops right up to winter, and I'm going to help you out. Some of these can still be planted now via seeds, but then there are some that preferably plant them by starts or suckers, get a head start on them because it is getting a little bit late in the season for you. But I'll guide you through which plant you're able to plant right now in July by seed or by sucker. I'm also going to share with you some of the crops you can start now by seed to have them ready for fall garden. Fall starts around September thereabout. So we have about July, August, 60, 65 days, 66 days working with to plant some of these from seeds to still get an harvest before it start getting cool when these hot weather crops start to, well, stop producing basically. All right, so I'm gonna go through the hot weather crops first and then the fall crops. How are you doing, guys? Are you ready? I know some of you garden up and running already, but some of you still wondering, what can I plant now? You're late out of the blocks like I am sometime. All right, so beans are up first, and these are green beans. These are Kentucky Wonder beans, and these can still be planted by seed right now. These are pole beans, but all sorts of green beans can be planted by seed still because they take literally 66 days. So you're on the verge of getting beans still before it start getting cool to harvest. So that's number one. Go ahead and plant some beans. Number two, you know what? Let me not number them because they're not in any particular order. Corns. You can still plant corns, and these will take 80 to 90 days. So this is one you want to plant from start. So you're going to plant these from sucker. Otherwise, they might not produce by the time it start getting cool. And corn does not like cool temperatures at all. They like warm temperatures. So corn, if you're still planning on planting corn, you want to plant them from sucker or starts. Pumpkin, another warm weather crop. This one is ready within 110 days, 110 to 115. So you want to plant this from starts. If you don't have your own start, try your nursery if they have pumpkins available. Otherwise, it's too late for pumpkin. Tomato is another one you want to plant from starts. Get your suckers. This take 80 to 85 days to be ready. So tomatoes, it is a little bit too late to plant tomatoes from seed at this point. But if you're able to get yourself some tomato suckers or some tomato starts, you can still go ahead and plant some of those to get them by fall because they won't produce in the cooler part of the year either. Eggplants. Eggplants is another one you can plant now from sucker as well. So you want to get a head start on eggplants to get them before it gets to, by the time it hit fall, this takes 2.5 months. So you might be able to get away with eggplants if it germinates quickly. You might be able to get away because by mid-September, if you plant it today, by mid-September, you should be able to harvest your first eggplant, and that would be good. Otherwise, start from starts. Okra, this loves the heat. So this is one that um you want to start this from start. No, I should mention that if you're in a tropical country like I am in Jamaica, all of these you can start. These warm weather ones, all of them you can start from seed because it does not get cold in the tropics. And so this is for something just flew in my eye. This is the sucker part of it. That's for persons living in cooler countries where it gets cold in winter. Fall heading into winter, it's cold. But for us in the tropics, you can plant this anytime by seed. So that's okra. Now all you can still plant squashes and summer squashes and winter squashes like zucchini. Zucchini you can probably get away because it takes around about 2.5 months. So they should start fruiting before it gets too cold. So you can still plant zucchini from seed right now. Can't wait until next week. Right now. Another one, and I grow this in my garden. Crooked neck squash, same period of time as the zucchini. So you're able to, as a matter of fact, this one is a, you have some that produces early. This is the early one. So it produces in 1.5 months. So if you plant this by seeds now, you should harvest by middle of August. So go ahead and plant. This is the yellow crooked neck squash. You can plant some of those now, and you should get fruits before it get cool in fall. Another one, this is a winter squash. One of my favorite, this is the butternut squash. And this one is ready in 85 days. So you want to plant this from a start, from a sucker. It won't be ready before the end of September, by the end of September. So by then it might get too cool. The thing is it start producing around about 2 months, but because you harvest them when the rind or the skin is hard, it takes a little bit longer to be matured to be harvested. So if it start producing, you can just leave it on the vine and it will ripen up before your first frost. So that should be good to plant from seed now as well. I'd prefer starts though. Peppers, all sorts of peppers can still be planted, but from starts. So go to your nursery and get those seedlings and plant. I'm checking to see how long the peppers take to be ready. Not seeing it on this particular package, but from experience, they take about 3 months. So to plant them from seed now, they might not mature before it gets too cold. And the last one is cucumbers. This is a this is the one I had growing. This is the Armenian yard-long cucumber that I grew in my garden successfully. It loves the heat, but it's also very, very quick. So you can still plant cucumber from seed. It takes about 50 days to be ready to be harvested. And so cucumbers, once they produce, you don't need to wait on them to ripen. You can eat it at any stage, so that's good. You can still plant any type of cucumber right now, and you still get harvest before it gets too cool. So those are some, just some. There are still more that you can plant. No, those are some that I grow in my garden successfully, and they do really, really well. No, there are cool weather crops that you can start. No, the thing is, it might be too warm to start these outside. So my advice is, if you're starting these now, start them under shade cloth or in your basement. Start them in the shade with light, artificial light, or under shade cloth with natural sunlight. But these do not tolerate heat very well. And so if you start them outside when it is so hot, they'll not survive. One such is broccoli. This is a Romanesco broccoli. This one is not common. I just add the package. So let me see if I have regular broccoli. Yes, broccoli. These are cool weather crops. They do have warm weather broccoli, but for the most part, broccoli is a cool weather crop. You can start them now, but keep them in the cool. And then when falls, it's September, you put them outside. Some other crops, you can start. Ignore the carrot on here, as I I plant carrot in the summer, but what I wanted to show you on here are the radishes. These you can start now. Even though they are cool weather crops, they'll still produce now. Late summer going into fall. So you can go ahead. You can also plant carrot and beets, to be honest, but I would rather plant it a little later. Another cool weather crop, you're gonna ignore the others as well, is Brussels sprout. You can start those inside now or in the cool, and then as soon as it cools down, you can put those outside in the elements. Another one that you can start from seed inside now is peas. Peas do not like the heat. I've grown this successfully. It did not do too well because I planted it too early. And so you can go ahead and plant some peas, get them started, and then take them outside later on when it gets a little bit cooler. Carrot, as I said, you can start planting carrots now. The thing is, if you should plant carrots now, you need to cover the beds so they don't dry out easily, because if the soil dries out before the seed germinate, they won't grow. Once they get growing, as long as you keep them watered, they'll survive. So you can go ahead and plant some carrots. That's my favorite to plant in the heat, but they do grow. I have some growing right now that I'm harvesting carrots from, and they're doing just fine. So you probably want to check for heat tolerant carrots and give those a shot. Beets, you can start these inside now or in the cool and then transplant them out. I particularly do not like to transplant beets. I like to direct sow them. They tend to produce better that way. But that is just my experience. I've seen persons transplant the beets, plant them in July and transplant them out by end of August going into September, and they do well. So give it a shot. Another to start inside, guys, I have a beautiful collard greens, and this is, no, it was not the Georgia Southern. It was the Vates that I planted, one in the garden. And it is, but it was from Fairmore's, wasn't it? I can't remember. It has been more than a year, going on 2 years since I planted that one. And it has been doing so well. But this is another cool weather crop that you can start inside in July. Collard greens. Some others that you can plant now are warm weather lettuce, guys. Warm weather lettuce exists. So if you're going to plant lettuce now, ensure that it is the one that tolerate heat. It will grow, but this is also one that you want to plant later on. But I've planted lettuce now. Look at this one. It's doing amazing. So you can plant lettuce right now. As a matter of fact, I planted some with you a couple days ago that I've acclimatized in my garden, and they're doing well. Another cool weather crop you want to start around about July is cauliflower. You probably want to plant this a late um, cauliflower and broccoli a little later on in July. And so you transplant those out early fall. So you get early broccoli and cauliflower. Cabbage as well. Both the red and the green cabbage. Plant these out now, and by early fall you're able to bring out nice size cabbages into your garden that will fold early in fall before it starts to get too cold. Even though these will produce going on into winter, the early part of winter, you have some cabbages that will survive the frost. You want some early cabbage out of your garden. I hope this helped someone today, because I do these videos based off of questions that I've gotten. And some of those, a lot of questions I got in June was what vegetables to plant in June. Now, if you ask me in the middle of June what vegetables you're to plant in June, chances are it is too late to plant those. So what I'm trying to do is to provide you with the list of vegetables, some of. There are so many more that you can plant. the list of vegetables that you can plant in the particular month early out so that you're able to get them going quickly. Because believe it or not, 1 week, 2 weeks make a difference depending on what vegetable you're growing. And so I hope this helped someone. If you've not been out in your garden yet, what are you waiting on? Time flies so fast. It's unbelievable. So get going, get planting, and please let me know what from my seeds, my suggestions you will be planting, what you're growing. If you're in the tropics, let me know what you have going on in your garden. And please remember that I have that community on my channel where you can share your pictures of your gardens and how they're doing. I enjoy looking at your, even if you don't see me comment, I like the thing. I press the like button and then comment at a later date because I have so many of you and I'm so happy I do. So sometimes it takes me a little while to get to commenting on them, but I do comment and I will. And guys, if you see where it did not drag my attention, please comment under the recent video and let me know. Marie, I posted a picture. Did you see it? Like some of you do. Thank you so very much for doing that. Guys, I have to do the gardening. I have to do the videos, editing, and then I respond to your comments. So sometimes it takes me a little bit of time. So please bear with me. I will get to you. I promise. I thank you so very much for your support. To my members, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you all so very much. Those of you just joining, welcome to the fold. You're all very welcome here in the garden and on this channel. Thank you. For those of you who have been with me for a while, thank you for hanging in there with me. And for those of you who say I watch but I don't leave a comment, why not? How will I know you watched? Please leave your comments, your questions, your concerns, your tips, your tricks. I appreciate all of them. Now, if you're watching and you've not yet subscribed, I encourage you to do so. It's absolutely free. And please remember to hit that like button, the notification bell, so you'll be notified whenever I post videos. All right, guys? Thank you so very much. Bye for now.